Hello, it's Jesse here. We're going to work on my 1940 UH dash assembly. I'm going to work on replating the lenses a little bit because they were kind of tarnished and toned a little bit, and I want to get some of the luster back, bring back some of that shine. We're end up sandblasting the top panel, the cover panel. We'll talk about each one of these components here. And we'll go on from there. But first off, we're going to assemble kind of a mock-up here of how the dash base panel mounts. I already did all this once on the frame before I set it away to get worked on, so I know it's all going to fit, but I'm just going to make a little display with it and test fit the dash panel when I get it back from being painted. That's all the purpose of that is. But otherwise, stay tuned here and we'll go over some stuff here as we move it along here. Alright, so all I did was just mount this dash base on here with a couple long roll pins and some deck screws to this piece of wood, just to get up far enough to when I put this speedometer in, it clears the base and everything. So this is an original 1938, 1939, 1940 speedometer. It's been restored by a guy up in Minnesota. Did a really excellent job. It was pretty rough when I got it, so pretty valuable. So I'm pretty happy for this thing. So be careful with it here. So anyway, we'll start going over some of these parts here. So stay tuned. All right, so off to the parts. It's like I was saying, this is an original speedometer. Reproductions don't look like this. They're about as white as a piece of paper, and then they don't have the Harley sign down here, which is a trademark. They can't put that on there. And of course, it says Stuart Warner up here on the top lens, hidden under there. Can't see it very well. Yeah, right there. So anyway, we're just gonna go over the parts like I said. So alright, these bolts here mount the base to the frame, and then you would secure it down with a lock washer and a nut. Then you put the base on. These shields here divide the lights, so the lights go in here, bulbs. The center light is for the speedometer, which comes through this window here at the bottom. It'll light up through that window there. Reproductions don't have that either. They have just a little spot at the back where you could pop the bulb in or something. And they're not built as good as these are. These are pretty much like a clock, you know, and built like a, I don't know, they're built really good. They can stand the vibrations of a rigid frame. They don't fall apart, all that great stuff like the repos do. So anyway, here's the bolts and those screws and the nuts here to hold the speedometer on, and this part here, these spacers, and we gotta make sure we have those because what I'm about to do here is hold the ignition switch on. Of course, they're held with lock washers. We're not gonna put the lock washers on this time because we're not gonna finish putting it on together. We're gonna just do a mock-up thing here. And here's the ignition switch. This is a pretty good one. It's a Briggs & Stratton style keyed one. It's even got its own code and everything. On the thing here, we can see that it's just like the original ones are. And this is a reproduction, of course, unfortunately, but the old one I had was wore out. And, well, anyway, this is a better one. It's the same exact style here, except for it's like plastic and right through here, but that's just where the terminals sit. But everything else that needs to function is all out of metal, and it's quality just like the original one was. And it has some sort of Bakelite terminal inside here too. You can see that through the switch part here. So nice one. A lot of them are made of plastic and stuff where the tumbler and the pin moves around and it ends up breaking and wearing out right away. So hopefully this one lasts. And this stuff back here is the finishing stuff for the dash cover itself. So we got the speedometer plate, the knob here that turns the light on, and the screws here that holds the cover onto the plate, and then the speedometer lock plug. I need one of them because the other one I had was kind of messed up, and I'm going to work on taking that dash apart. I'm probably going to mess it up anyway. So the dash panel. This is a European made reproduction, decent one. Everything lined up good. I had test, like I said it before, I test fitted this all in the frame before I sent it away. Here's the light switch that runs the speedometer light. And so we're going to start putting some of this stuff on here together. Alright, so let's start off putting this together here for a little mock-up here. So yeah, just set this in there like that. Just going to run these screws in here. Then yeah, so in the meantime here, I will, after I get all this together, I'll work on putting the dash in the sandblaster. I'll sandblast that, and then I'll also be working on taking the lenses out first, of course, and then replate those. Get them a little bit shinier. I mentioned that earlier. So later in this video, you'll see all that. But yeah, right now I'm just going to put this in here, kind of mock this up together. Alright, hold on a second here. So the shields here, they get mounted in here, and then they hook up onto these little, when the studs come through and they're on the frame, they mount onto that, and they divide these lights, like I said. So it directs the main center bulb here, which is the speedometer light bulb, into this window here, and then the generator light and the oil light, depending on which, I think it's that way. Yeah, those will be divided on their own areas. So there's that. Just set these 4 spacers in here now. Set the ignition switch on there. And when I go to finish this up, and even though I'm tinker with this stuff now and then, when I go to finish this up, I gotta be dang careful too, because I don't want to be dropping this stuff and scratching it all up when I go to mount the thing, of course. And then yeah, we'd have to replace stuff because I don't want it all beat up when I go to finish this thing. So alright, so stay tuned, and I will finish putting these screws in quick here. I'll show you that. Alright, so here we go. We got this all mocked up, and it's pretty much done now. The right side here is the red lens, and the left side here was the green lens. I made sure I made mention of that. So, and the center one, of course, the center bulb, like I said before, lights up the speedometer light. Here's the switch that runs that. And then this is a 1940 and 41 and older bike, so this gets the domed knob here held in with a screw there at an angle. So as we go to put this thing together, finish it up, we'll be able to see a lot of that stuff go into action. But just going to show you some picture here. This is a print out of a parts book. It shows the fastening hardware here, and on this side the lenses, both sides, and the hardware holding it here. The breakdown of the switch that turns the light on up here, and then some of these individual components for like the stuff that holds it together and stuff. Then it shows the shields here. I've seen a couple bikes in some shows and stuff that they actually didn't have that in there. There was also a different type. It was like a piece of cardboard or something that would loop around, which a lot of the war bikes, like during the 42s and so, had that. So since this is a pre-war bike, this has a lot of glamour in it. I have a lot of cadmium parts instead of park-rise stuff. I mentioned before in a lot of my other videos that a lot of the bikes 1942 and later had park-rise stuff. So we have cadmium finished screws to hold the cover on. We have a cadmium door here that goes on the right side for the tripometer. This seems how this speedometer was available 2 different ways. You could get it without a tripometer back in the day, but this one has one. So that means that it has this style, this style cover, and this style cover in the picture has a dome top. See that? So that means that that one would cover up the hole completely, so you wouldn't have to have a hole there. The tripometer wasn't in function usage. This plug here on the left side it's for the speedometer lock hole on my dash panel, so I'll be able to pop that in. This speedometer does have the door for the speedometer lock. It's back here. This door is held with 2 screws, and the device comes back, and then there's this notch here. Also lines up for the speedometer lock also, but this is not a cop bike, so it won't have, none of this stuff will function or work right. So that's why the plug is used instead. And the proper way this is put in is kind of like how I'm holding it. We'll show that later, but it goes like this and blocks that access off. And I've seen it both ways, but the actual correct fit for this is cadmium plated, and it goes over the hole. It doesn't get painted, and I've seen a lot of bikes where they paint that, and well, it's not correct. So I'm going to try to do this as correct as I can according to archives and stuff. So alright, so anyway, I guess I'm going to start working on replating the lenses and start sanding on the panel, the top panel cover. So stay tuned for all that to come up. Alright, so here we are. We're kind of fixing some plating that was kind of tarnished on these lenses. They were fading away, so gonna just put some nickel plating on it. So in one of my previous videos I showed how to do nickel plating and stuff, so you can reference that one. But I downsized the container and to replate these lenses here for my cat eye dash for my 1940 UH, and well, it seems to be reacting pretty good. So to the smaller container with less surface area on the water there to charge the particles with. So we'll see how this turns out. But like I said, they were tarnished a little bit and the original plating or whatever, and just want to make them a little bit shinier than they were. So stay tuned as I work on this dash here. Alright, so I've been trying to replate these. They were kind of tarnished and toned or something over the years. Anyways, the finish was kind of coming off. Anyway, so I've been trying to nickel plate it. Yeah, so anyways, they're looking better than they did before. I should show you the picture before I put them in, but I got kind of anxious to start trying to replate them. So anyways, they're shiny. This is a few hours of running through the solution. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run them for a little bit longer and see if I can get them a little bit more shinier. But even if they don't get shinier, I am happy with this turnout because they were, like I said, tarnishing and kind of the plating was wearing off from cleaning or something over the years. Kind of started having a brassy look to it, and well, I just didn't want that. So anyway, then I'll be able to pop them in my dash and then get that all finished up. So stay tuned here, and as I rebuild my dash here for the 40 UH, and we're gonna try to run it through the solution some more and plate it so get some more plating on there. So stay tuned. Alright, so here we go, we're getting ready to put it back in there. So I got it all hooked up, and the bubbles start instantly. Look at that, that's nice, that's a good sign. So well, let's keep swirling around, getting the bubbles knocked off for the next hour or so and see what that does, and then take them in and out a couple times. Rotate the connections around a little bit just in case. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show a little video of that. Of course, if you're not familiar with my other video on the electroplating process, we got two nickel anodes right here that are hooked to a power supply, and it's sending positive charges on the anodes into the solution, and the component we're wanting to plate is hooked up with a negative lead, so it's creating the attraction to pull the nickel to the item to get plated. So let's see what happens here and see if we get any more shininess out of this. Otherwise, like I said, I'll be happy with the way it looks now. So stay tuned. Alright, so we just got these out of the solution here, and they're nice and shiny again. So, well, they're shinier than they were for being old, you know. So yeah, because people back in the day, they would clean them off, and next thing you know, they're wearing off the plating or whatever. So I went with trying to replate them nickel because I read somewhere they were chrome originally, but then I heard from some other guys that have some older bikes too that had the same style lenses as these are and same dash and everything, and they were telling me they were originally nickel plated. So I took a chance at nickel plating, and it turned out. So anyway, these look really good in my cat eye dash. So I'm in the process of sanding that all down, and I'll be doing some video on that here in the video here too, coming up. So once I get that all sanded down and the dash all sanded down, and then have it repainted black, because I'm gonna go with the black on my bike. The dash, the taillight in 1940 was the same color as the overall color of the motorcycle. So the color matched the tanks and the fenders. So I'm gonna go with black with my bike. So because that's what the title said when I bought the bike originally anyway. So we're gonna repaint the dash black so color matches. So, and pop these in, fold them over. You'll see all that coming up. So stay tuned as we work on this dash here, and yeah, just stay tuned. Working on getting ready to sandblast my dash, my old dash here for my 40 UH. Get some of this old paint off and clean it up a little bit so I can repaint it nice black. It's kind of dull and seen better days. So stay tuned as we clean this dash up for my 40 and go over some other stuff with this thing coming up here. So stay tuned. Alright, so I got it all sandblasted here. This is a 39 through 46 cat eye dash panel, and I picked this up a while back at swap meet down in Davenport, Iowa, and it's pretty good shape. This is the 39 through 42 style because it has the prominent V right through here. They kind of like just sloped off in like 43 and later all the way to 46. I took the lenses out. Gonna work on replating them a little bit. So anyways, then I'll get this thing all repainted and nice black, because this is a color match to the 1940 they did the color match dash with the main stuff, so like the tanks and the fenders. So anyway, yeah. So over here is this is the speed lock that on cop bikes they would this hole here would actually be a button that you'd push and it would lock your speedometer from at a certain speed, so they could actually pace the vehicle that they're trying to catch for speeding. Old technology compared to nowadays. But anyway, this should clean up pretty good. It's pretty good shape. So yeah, I wanted to get all the paint off of it because I'm not sure if the paint that they're going to repaint it with to make it the black I want is going to have a chemical reaction or not. So I didn't want to spend a lot of extra money on repainting and painting until they got it right. So I try to help out a little bit here. So so stay tuned, and we'll finish working on this dash and get it all together and make it look nice and sweet again. So stay tuned. Alright, so I got this thing all nice and sanded down with the sandblaster. Like I said before, this is a 39 through 42 type because of the prominent V through here. And these lenses that I replated. This is correct finish possibly for 1939 to 1942, 41 probably? Yeah, 41, because in 42 through practically all the way to 46, they were parkerized finish on the frames. So according to some guys that I know that have bikes just like this and all original stuff, they told me that these are nickel plated. I did read somewhere they were chrome, but you know, they can be confusing because chrome, nickel, all about the same look, and people just, you know, say chrome. The green one goes on the left, and the red one goes on the right over here. So these originally came out of this dash panel a while back when I got ready to plate them, and I know they'll fit again, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think I'm ready to go have this thing painted. So sanded it pretty good so I didn't have any contamination. There might be some spots I need to clean up yet, but we'll go from there. Check it out. So, well, I think that does it. I think we're going to get ready to send this to the body shop. So, alright, well, stay tuned. This thing will start looking like a nice looking pretty dash again. So. Alright, here we are, we're back. Just got this dash cover back from the body shop. Yeah, just got done painting it. Let's check it out here. Get ready to finish our little mock-up stage here of the dash. Alright, so here we go. Wow, that looks really good. This will turn out really good when it's done. Alright, so then now we're just gonna put some of this stuff back together here and finish this mock-up. So I'll set this over here for now. I'll go over a couple things. We're gonna pop these replated lenses in. I just got into replating. You saw in previous segments of this video here. I'll put them in the correct orientation, of course, and then the stuff that I have all prepared here. So when I'm doing this stuff, I just like to go into detail on this little piece of paper. I made this up using an Excel spreadsheet, and I just type in what the description of the item is, original part number. So when I go to, if I need to go to the parts book print, I can just verify that I'm putting the stuff in the right spot. So it's a good organization skill that I use to just keep everything all lined up and, you know, good to go. So we got here, I'll be putting this plug in the left side for the speedometer lock. Original dashes have this, reproductions don't, so it's a nice way of telling, in a way, if it's real or not, you know. This one had the hole in it already, so. And we'll just pop that in the right way. The books and the print pictures of the factory pictures show, and then put the lenses in here, of course, and fold the pieces over, and maybe even try the knob out on there and see how that looks on there. This other stuff like the shields and stuff I talked about earlier, we'll put them on when I mount the dash base here to the frame. So I guess now we'll just, there's some stuff about this I want to talk about, so stay tuned here to get prepared to finish mocking up this dash. Alright, so I was going to go into some further detail here about this speedometer. Like I mentioned before, this is a rebuild original 1938 to 1940 Stewart and Warner speedometer. This type of speedometer is known as the white face speedometer because it kind of looks white right there. But there's something here I want to talk about that I didn't go too much detail over, but I want to. The old original, in some of the old original pictures, the speedometer appears to be white. And sun faded originals, like faded by the sun, seem to have looked like they have faded to white, or faded from white over the years of service, but the actual faceplate itself on these is brass. And they're etched in silver plating, actually. It's kind of hard to see it with the light and stuff, but anyways, so over time the silver tarnishes and kind of gives each face its unique look, just like an old silver coin or whatever when they tarnish over the years from being touched by, or touched, but you really can't touch the faceplate in here, but so it'll tarnish with the air, you know, and stuff like that, moisture, air, that kind of stuff. So they end up getting darker and tarnishing. So when new, they had a silverish look to them. And reproductions, like I said before, are just too white. They're like a piece of paper. I mean, literally a white sheet of paper. And the internal mechanism is not even the same quality. I mean, they're so light compared to these real ones. The repos can't even put the trademark Harley bar and shield on, or Stewart and Warner on the faceplates without infringing on some sort of, like, you know, copyrights and law stuff. So having a real one like this is pretty unique. And so while you're riding the motorcycle, you know, it's something like an old Harley like this, or any other old Harley, or any Harley in general, the speedometer in the headlamp, whatever you want to call it, whichever way you want to call it, it's something you look at all the time. I mean, you're going to see it all the time when you're riding, other than when you're looking around. So the speedometer just has to look right. So just wanted it to be all nice and new looking. So I'm glad I had it reworked. So all right, so here we are. I forgot to kind of mention something about this. This dash here, once I got it repainted, I'm probably gonna have to wait a few days before I start messing around with it and putting stuff in it and putting the lenses in and the, you know, when I go to set on the dash itself, I'm not gonna like run these screws that go on the side here. I'm not gonna run them. I'm not gonna run them all the way in and tighten them up, along with the same with this back one here. But what I will do is I'll put the side plug in over here, and I'll put the lenses in probably about 13, 14, maybe more days. That way the paint fully cures and stuff, and then we'll go from there. Then we'll mock it up, put it all together, and see what it looks like. And yeah, just let it sit around for a little while till I get the frame back. But yeah, otherwise, stay tuned. Alright, so this has been sitting around for a few days now, and I'm ready to start putting the stuff back in it. We'll start with putting in the plug on this side, and then we'll work on putting the lenses in. So, according to the Palmer book here, the actual orientation is that this plug goes in that way. So I'm going to try to install it just like it is in that picture there. It goes into detail about it. So Let's see what happens here. So stay tuned here. Alright, so I got that in there. Just pretty much slid right in and just bent over the sides and the back there. And now we're going to move on to putting the lenses in dash here. We're going to be doing the green one here and the red one, of course. So it's green on the left and red on the right. So it's going to take a little bit of effort here. So stand by and I'll just look at some of that stuff as I'm doing it here. Stay tuned. Alright, so I got the lens in there. Now this is going to be easier said than done, but I got to bend these over. I don't want to scratch this all up on the inside. So when I bend them over, it's going to hold them tight to the cover body here. So stay tuned as I work on this, but it's just going to be kind of, it's pretty straightforward procedure. You just got to grab onto it and bend it over, but I don't want to clamp on it because I don't want to scratch it all up. And yeah, so let's see what happens here. Stay tuned. Alright, so I was able to kind of start them by bending them with my finger, and then I just got on it really nice with the needle nose pliers and just kind of pushed on them until they bent over. And all you gotta do is secure it so it doesn't rattle around. I mean, you don't need to kill it by like smashing it all up in there and stuff. So now we'll move on to the red one over here. Stay tuned. Alright, so I got the red one in here. I got these other three out here kind of bent over a little bit. I have this one left to do over here. So all I'm really doing kind of is just starting it and then just pushing on it with just the edge. And then it bends over. So stay tuned here while I finish this one up here, and we'll finish this mock-up here. See what it looks like all together. So stay tuned. Alright, so there's a couple notes or a couple things I want to mention before I finish up, before I forget to talk about it. But some bikes I've seen, they have like they'll put a rubber seal around this edge of the dash panel here, which is not correct. I'm not sure when it all came about, when they started putting that little rubber seal around the outside, but it wasn't apparent. This is a 41 dash, because it's a 41 speedometer. But it wasn't apparent to be seen on the 40s bikes, early 40s bikes, like 45 and older. And then this is 41 in this picture. And so it wasn't on 40, and it didn't have it in 39 or 38 and older. So make sure I'm not going to be putting that on there, so I want it to be accurate looking. So the other thing is, the bike's set up for 6 volt. So the lights here in the dash panel are going to be a little bit on the dim side. So these are acrylic glass-like lenses, original type. So it's going to be kind of hard to see the light through there, especially from a 6 volt bulb. I'll show you an example here, because this is an LED flashlight here. And this puts out a lot of power, a lot of light. So let's kind of see what it's going to take to light that up. It's going to take quite a bit. And then we got we'll show you the green one here. So it might not be, won't be very bright when it lights up, but it should still be able to kind of see that there's a light on in there. That's how it was. It's how accurate it's going to be. So I mean, yeah, but anyways. Alright, so now we're going to put the dash panel on here. We've got to hook it up on we got to get it started on the bottom here with the light switch part. Let me just kind of like slide down over the top of everything. And we got to, it's kind of a difficult little deal here, but we got to get over here around this guy over here too. So it's originally fitted, so I should be able to get it back on there. It might take 2 hands, so stay tuned while I try to get it on there. Alright, so I got the panel on here. There we go. Looks pretty good in there. Other than it's got a bunch of fingerprints all over it, but other than that, just gotta make sure that this chrome ring here is flush with the panel body here. That's kind of the fitment. And then next we'll put on the little knob here. And then put this little panel on the side here. And then there's little sheet metal screw like things that actually thread into the base itself right through there. And then there's a bolt in the back that we'll put on here. So like that. So stay tuned, you'll see this all done. Alright, well here it is all mounted on there. Got the screws in. I didn't go all the way in because I didn't want to mash it all on there and scratch it all up. You gotta be really careful when you're running them straight screws in so you don't slide off and plow into something with your screwdriver and scratch it all up. So same with on these too. I left them out kind of a ways. And then the back one. So I hope you like this restoration of this dash. I think I'm gonna leave it like this for a while until I'm ready to start putting on the bike. And then so I got something cool to look at. A little desk piece. So stay tuned, and for other things we got coming up on this restoration. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed this.